One occasion, a year or so ago, she told me that she loved me, and that when I didn't reciprocate, she acted like she really hadn't meant it. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, gonna go over a story titled, "My former friends with benefits, a 25-year-old female, claims to be pregnant. I feel sick and I don't know what to believe." And big shout out to Joseph for sending me this story. And guys, this story is a quite interesting one. Quite an interesting one about what happens when a gal becomes obsessed with a guy. What happens when you're with a gal that you absolutely don't give a crap about, but she is head over heels in love with you and obsessed with you. Essentially, a crazy gal. And if you string her along, what could happen to you? Because in this title, where he says that she's pregnant, I don't know what to do, you obviously know more from the title in the actual video. There's more going on here. This guy here in this story met this girl while he was abroad in Spain. She's Russian, he's English. They hooked up here and there, and real quickly, like I said, she fell for him, and he's just like, whatever, she's a friends with benefits, and it gets a bit out of hand, where she turns into a flat-out liar and stalker, doing what she can to keep this guy in his life. And it's a very important lesson, guys, that for you guys to do dating, relationship, hookups, and pickups, you get some clingy girls, you gotta be very, very careful. And it's always in the guy's interest to have a girl more into him than he is into her. No problem there. But when she is outright claiming that she's in love with him and her behavior is obsessive, that's when the point is to cut her loose. And certainly not string her along, making her think there's hope. Otherwise, some bad things can happen. I'm sure many of you guys have seen the movie Fatal Attraction, or certainly aware of it. And I don't want any of that type of stuff to happen to you. So I'm going to get in this story here, guys, and show you the lengths that some of these gals will take to keep a guy in their life that they are obsessed with. So it starts off, he says here, "So long story ahead. I met a girl like 2 years ago while I was in Spain. I'm British and she's Russian. We started hooking up. It seemed like something short-term since we were both in Spain for just a few weeks. Anyway, we ended up both living in Spain in different cities. We met up from time to time, maybe a few times a year over the last 2 years. On one occasion, a year or so ago, she told me that she loved me, and then when I didn't reciprocate, she acted like she didn't really mean it. She meant it. Perhaps it was selfish of me to continue seeing her casually after that, but I did it on a few more occasions. There are a few more signs that she has stronger feelings for me than I did for her, but she always subsequently acted like she was okay with our situation. No, she wanted more, and she was hoping she could get you to change your mind. Now, I have no problem, like I said at the beginning, a guy being with a gal who's more into him than he's in with her. That's the best place to be, okay? But when she is obviously in love with you, and you're just like, friends with benefits, be aware there's a price you could pay down the road if she becomes obsessed. And by the way, I'm going to assume that she's probably darn good looking. And since he said he would see her from time to time, he wasn't chasing after her. So he was a challenge to her, which they're drawn to. It continues. He says, anyway, we last saw each other in mid-June. At the time, she told me she was passing through with friends. And although she subsequently told me that that was a lie, she came to my city just to see me. Well, duh. Of course. Oh, I just happened to be in town, would like to get together, but really she came there to see him. This is the behavior of someone that's in love or obsessed. I've since relocated to the UK and her back to Russia. We've communicated a little in this time, including getting busy over Skype on a handful of occasions. Dude, just cut it loose. I'm sure he probably really enjoys the attention and feeling like the man and have her chasing after him and all that, but he knows something's up. It's not a good place to be. Earlier this week, she texted me that she had something important to tell me and needed to talk. We had a video call where she told me that she's been pregnant, but also had a procedure. I felt a bit empty, but my gut instinct was that it was the right decision. I told her I needed some time to process it. The next day, we spoke again. This time, she was very judgmental about me being okay with her having the procedure. I can't believe you would agree to me offering our child, she said. I feel so horrible about it. I politely but firmly stated that I continued to feel that she made the right decision and left it there. They weren't together. They weren't in a relationship. She's living in Russia. He's living in the UK. if indeed this is true. But she said that, but she said she was testing it. Finally, she tells me that she didn't have the procedure at all and that she's actually 3 months pregnant with my child. Does this sound like somebody that's mentally stable to you? This sounds like somebody that's doing what she can to keep this guy in her life. First, she said she had a procedure. He reacted accordingly. She threw a hissy fit. Oh, well, never mind. Now I'm pregnant for 3 months. Telling me about a non-existent procedure was like a test to see how I'd react. I've spoken to her enough about doctors and scans to believe that this time she's telling the truth. Although, of course, I still want some kind of confirmation that it's real and is mine. She says she's sure about that part. 2 words, amigo. Paternity test. That will give you the proof that A, she's pregnant, and B, if indeed it's yours. I don't really know what to do now. My dad was never there for me, despite living only a few miles away. And I know I could never do that to any child under any circumstances. But beyond that, how do I get to know the child that lives in another country? How do I change my life to step up and be the person I need to be? I care for the girl, but I can't say that I love her. Do not go move and be with some girl you're not in love with just because, that's an absolute dumbass, old-fashioned thing to do. It'd be a major mistake. Remember, this girl's proven to be a bit obsessive with him. And it's proven to obviously lie. And show up in the city saying, well, because of my friends, but really I wanted to see you. And has repeatedly obviously tried to get this guy. Be aware of that. The thought of moving to Russia, I'd never even having visited, seems overwhelming, and my instinct is that I can't imagine doing it. But is not considering it a terrible thing. I feel like I don't know anything. Please send some advice. Yeah, well, here's the advice, even though I know how the story ends. Paternity test. Tell everything you need to know. And you don't need to pick up and move. If there's any way of doing anything, it could be her come to you. But even then, what are you going to be in a relationship with her? She's obviously proven through her actions she's definitely a little unstable. And first, let's see if she actually is pregnant. And then paternity test if it's your kid. Because something tells me she obviously can easily get other dudes. Now, on for the update as to what's really going on here. He said, my original post was just a little over a year ago, and it's finally time for an update, linked to the original. As at the time, lots of you saw many red flags I didn't, and you were pretty sure that she wasn't actually pregnant. Yeah, I was one of them when I read this. You were right. She wasn't. After telling her I'd only continue talking to her when there was a paternity test, she initially agreed. She then made up some stories about hospital visits, problems with the pregnancy, and got angry that I wasn't being supportive. I held my ground, told her I wouldn't communicate further until the paternity test was done. So you can see she's sticking to her guns here. And the hospital visits and all that type of stuff. He says, nope, paternity test, paternity test, paternity test. About a week later, she finally admitted it. It had all been a lie to get my attention. I sent her a message asking her to get help, and I never contacted her again. And I blocked her everywhere. Yes, block her completely. But if you think a gal like this, that's just head over heels for this guy, not in love with him, just obsessive with him, and willing to go any lengths to keep him in her life, whatever, is just going to disappear like that, you're out of your damn mind. And you're going to see here, guys, it doesn't stop. Let's just say, I really hope this guy doesn't have any pet rabbits, if you know what I mean by this, because she ain't going to stop. And let this be, again, a warning to you guys about these types of gals that are this nuts. He continues, he says here, that was over 1 year ago. I've had occasional messages from other phone numbers since then, either asking for forgiveness or getting angry with me for not offering forgiveness. So, she doesn't back down so easily. I generally ignored them, though she did get in my head once by sending a message that she was so worried that she damaged me, and I replied telling her that I moved on and forgave her. Smack. You telling her, you responding to her, that is going to give her a reason to keep contacting you. And by you saying you forgave her, now is going to make her think, oh, well, he forgave me. Now I can now reach out to him. Maybe I have a chance. That's how these wackos' minds operate. You can't give any attention. Says about 2 months ago, she texted saying that she was visiting the city I live in and wanted to meet up for a chat. What'd I tell you? She ain't backing down. She ain't going away. And by you saying I forgave you, oh, well, maybe I have a second chance with my dream man here. I ignored it and blocked the number. Didn't think of much of it. Then 1 month ago, when I was on holiday, the receptionist at my work sent me a text. Someone had enrolled in a course where I teach, and it was asking about me. The 27-year-old Russian. Holy crap, it was her. I had to tell my manager the story, and she agreed to me taking extra holiday and working remotely to avoid any unpleasant situation. This crazy chick showed up in his country, enrolled at his university just to see him, because then he's stuck there. And I'm not sure if he meant that she was in one of his classes, but she's still there at the university. This girl obviously must have money to travel abroad, pay to stay somewhere, go to the university, all this to have this guy in her life. Remember this, guys. Remember these girls that that are totally obsessive and in love with you, that you string along. Be careful. There's a price here. It's not worth it. This guy needs to have whatever. I don't know what this guy can do, since she's obviously a foreigner. Restraining her on how things work over in the UK. Maybe you UK guys are watching this can tell me. But he needs to do something here, because what if she shows up with some sort of weapon or something, or breaks into his house or apartment, or you get the point. I received a few texts from her telling me she had enrolled in that school by coincidence. Yeah, sure. And finally wanted to congratulate me on avoiding my idea of hell. Her course finished last week, and I found out that from some social media stalking that she's now in another city. I think hopefully that's the end of the story. Thanks for the help, Reddit. No, it's not. She'll be back. This is not going to stop. You know, the interesting thing is, guys, is that probably one of the easiest ways to get a woman that's deeply in love with a man to fall out of love with a man is to start acting like these dorks in the movies. I guarantee you that this guy probably started bombarding her with texts that he loves her so much, can't live without her, started turning into a real needy, clingy jackass. That could actually turn her off so much that she'll actually then disappear. I mean, any normal girl, that is the ultimate way to get rid of a woman, guys, by the way. If you want to get rid of her and you're afraid that she just won't take no for an answer, just start acting like these guys in movies. Just smother them with affection and love and being needy and clingy, and they'll be so repulsed, never hear from them again. Now, I'm not saying actually do that, but I think it's an interesting theory that could be definitely debated on how to handle that. Now, real quick, a few comments here before I wrap up this story. One guy says, this is actual stalker behavior. Yes. I hope you haven't responded to her since you said you forgave her. I hope you blocked her number everywhere. And when you get texts from random numbers that are clearly her, take a photograph, block, and move on. Yes, that's what I said. Do not engage with her. And by him saying he forgives her, that was the dumbest thing possible. The photographs will come in handy if you ever need to get a restraining order against her. I doubt that this is going to be the last of her BS. She came all the way from Russia to see you and enrolled on a course where you teach. Depending on what kind of school this is, she could do it again and again. But that also depends on any visas that she holds. That's an area I really don't know a whole lot about. Well, I don't know either. Anybody that knows about this, comment away. Make sure all your doors and windows are secure at night, and don't hesitate to call the police if she tries anything. I'm sorry, dude, but I really doubt this is over. But since she's Russian, she'll have to go back to her own country eventually. Just be wary until then. Yeah, I hope he has archive of all the messages she sent and the conversations about her having the procedure, and being pregnant, and reaching out to him, and all these things. And also probably pictures of her at the school where he works, amongst many other things. And don't engage with her. The dumbest thing he did was freaking kept talking to her, and obviously, oh, I forgive you. Another guy says here, she sounds like a proper nutcase, and I don't understand why police cannot act since she's obviously stalking and harassing you. They might not be able to arrest her, but surely they can tell her that she doesn't have the right to harass you. She might get to the point if she gets told this by the police, and she may start thinking that there can be consequences to her actions. While trying to speak ration and logic to an irrational, emotional person, good luck with that. This could be a movie. Think about this. This could totally be a screenplay for a movie. I had to keep that in mind. I'm glad it worked out for you, dude, but when a girl says she loves you and you don't feel the same, don't keep stringing her along. She was crazy, and that's not your fault, but damn, you shouldn't let it go as long as you did after she told you that. Oh, there you go, guys. Nice, good, crazy ex-stalker type of story. So again, like I said before, just be careful. And if you have a girl that is not just likes you more than you like her, but is like obviously showing signs of being a little mental and is obsessive and all that, don't string her along. It's not worth it. I don't care how hot she is. I don't care how great she is in the sack she is. I don't care how it makes you boost your ego to have this girl chasing after you. It's not worth it. Again, a little liking you a little bit more, okay, no problem. But like this, Look at the length she's gone. And I don't think this story is over at all. I'll be paying attention for updates in this guy's saga. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me just think about this. And also, guys, you come across a really good story like to share, by all means, email it to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just give me some time to get it to it. I definitely will when I get a chance. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.